everyone. Welcome to a Friday. I know we are very grateful that it is the end of the week, although we have a long weekend ahead of us, I'm sure. We thought it'd be really fun to bring you guys a video of the four of us looking like the Brady Bunch all together on Zoom. This is how we typically see each other throughout the day, multiple times per day, and I know you are doing the same kind of thing at your business too. So we wanted to go round robin, just give you some quick updates before we go into the weekend. My part is I want to really encourage you guys to sign up for TRA Marketplace. As you know, we originally had dates in June, and then we had to move it to August, and then we decided to go virtual, and someone decided to make it a 6-day event online, 6 days. And so we have a ton of education. We have more than 40 sessions. That's like 90 speakers on education. We have at least 35 demo sessions from all the great exhibitors that have pivoted very quickly to provide videos for us, and you'll be able to get some really great insights on equipment and food manufacturers and packaging. We also have some excellent education that's happening on Marketplace. We have 6 keynotes throughout the week, including Emily is going to be doing a fireside chat with Tom Benet, who is the new CEO of the National Restaurant Association. We have James Pogue, we have Ross Ramsey. For all of you really nerdy Texas politics hypes, you'll know exactly who he is. We have the leadership of P. Terry's who's going to talk, and then we have some amazing chefs from around the region who are going to talk about how they're using this opportunity to really innovate and pivot. And you can be part of that action. All you have to do is sign up for free. It's free for restaurant operators at tramarketplace.com. And we have the support of 9 other state restaurant associations and the CSRA, which means we have turned our little TRA conference into a national virtual experience. So please be sure to sign up as soon as you can. Encourage your employees to sign up. We have something really exciting coming to you in the mail as long as you sign up this weekend. So don't forget tramarketplace.com. Take care of that this weekend. Joe?
Thank you, Anna. Yeah, definitely Marketplace is going to be a lot of fun. We sort of said at the beginning of this week it was going to be a tough but productive week. It definitely has been. Lots and lots of things going on. For those of you who were impacted by the closure of bars and the 51% sticker issue, last night, if you didn't see it, TABC released some new administrative guidance that's really, really important. So there's 2 different ways that you can approach things right now while we're waiting for our redefinition language to get approved. One, based on the release last night, you can go and file an affidavit with TABC. You can use your gross sales receipts from April 1st, 2020 through the day that you file the affidavit. They'll review it, and then you can reopen off of that. The other way is to go ahead and file for an FB license. If you do that, a couple of important things to remember. One is you're forecasting your sales for the next 6 to 9 months. 2, send your payment with that information. And if you want some additional assistance with that, if you want a little advice, we have a couple of TABC consultants and lawyers that have been working with us. That information is available on our COVID resources page, but definitely take a look at both of those options right now.
And I'm just going to insert, this is for that group that we think is about just under 1,500 restaurants that were closed under the executive order. So we had restaurants that were misclassified. So I don't want to confuse the two, that this is not about traditional bars, right? This is about the work we've been doing, trying to take restaurants that have been closed and get them reopened. And those 2 options, of course, the dream is the full option, which is the classification, which Kelsey will talk about too, but don't want to give any false hope. Sorry, Joe, just make sure we put the word restaurant in there.
No, absolutely. And I think last night there was a lot of questions going back and forth about that exact thing. But those of you who have your kitchens and serving food all hours that you're open and all those other pieces that we put into the definition of a restaurant, this is one opportunity for you. And again, look at your sales numbers and talk with your lawyers and look at these 2 options. Definitely a way that you can make this work. We already found out from a couple of our members that they've been able to do it. 2 of them, in fact, that'll be opening up on Sunday at noon for their first service in the last month. So we're very excited for them. The other thing that I just wanted to briefly talk about is membership. And to thank all of you who have, throughout this difficult time, maintained your memberships with us. Obviously, your participation in the association is what gives us our strength and it lends your voice to ours. And in times like these, our voice becomes a roar for you. Those of you who've been watching our videos and reading our newsletters every night, taking advantage of our opening up the app to non-members and being part of all the communications that we are sending out. These are just a small snippet of the things that are values of membership that we extend out to everyone who is a part of the TRA. This is a very, very unique time. but we have to all band together as an industry. And so we want you to be a part of this. But this is just the start. We have an incredibly difficult legislative session coming our way that Kelsey's going to talk about in a second. And continuing to have the strength of the voice of the entire industry is super important. And so those of you who are participating right now with us that aren't members, I would just ask you to consider joining the family and being part of this as we go into legislative session, because we definitely get to have a little fun. We're going to do that at Marketplace, but it adds that strength when we go to advocate for you and get the things done that have to get done. So with that, I'm going to toss it over to Kelsey.
Perfect segue. Joe's right. It's really about lending all of our voices together and having an impact together. So a few ways to do that right now. One, we launched a phone to action campaign yesterday aimed at our Texas delegation in DC. If you've been reading our nightly emails and watching our video updates, you can feel the frustration from Emily and I and others, because Congress is up to its old tricks of, putting party and partisanship above the work that needs to get done. So now is our chance. I think we really need to take this weekend to amplify our voices. Use the phone to action campaign. It is so easy. It takes a minute or less. But not only that, share it. Share it with all your friends and family. Share it with all your employees, your coworkers, your suppliers. I think we really have to emphasize that this is one industry together, and it impacts every single one of us. Even if you're just a consumer, none of us can afford to see, especially our local and independent restaurants, close because they don't get the relief that they deserve. So what I would love is for Congress to come back Monday morning and their inboxes just be flooded with emails from people saying, do your job, don't forget about restaurants. So please take 2 minutes to send that email and to send it to your friends and coworkers so that they can do that too. A couple other updates. Joe mentioned the state legislative session that begins in January. Emily and I are spending a lot of time really gearing up for that, and it's exciting. This is a session that will have great opportunity and great challenges. And so we're using this time right now to really get prepared, hone our messaging, hone our strategy, hone our agenda, and build coalitions that'll get the job done. We know it's going to be a tough session. COVID is likely to impact the way that the two chambers do business. These are pretty old school institutions that aren't used to using a lot of Zoom, certainly, or technology. So we're going to have to kind of find new ways, just like you are, to innovate and get the job done. So I'm really excited about the work that Emily and I are creating on behalf of this industry. And that's where, Joe's pitch on membership is so important, because the more voices that we can band together, the better our impact is going to be to get this done. So with that, I'll turn it over to Emily to kind of wrap things up for us.
Great, so thank you. And I think it's just so great to see the three of you here, right? Because sometimes I do these videos, but I just hope everyone understands who watches that I sometimes get to be the face, but the work happens across this leadership team in countless hours. I mean, I think we've lost track, and we were laughing this morning that it's a Friday, but just like all of you in the industry, it means nothing. It really just means we have 2 days to catch up on all the email, which I'm sure I owe some of you that are watching email. But I want to say thank you to this group, obviously the senior leadership team, and those that are in Austin or Dallas or San Antonio or Houston. As I told the team today, I'm just so grateful because they're just making it happen right now. And so a couple of things I'm going to follow up on. First is Marketplace. Please take the 2 seconds to register. There is nothing like this happening across the US. I want to be really clear about that. It would have been much easier when we had really made the decision that, with safety in mind of our guests and what was happening in Dallas, that we had to cancel. Everyone has just simply canceled. That's the wrong thing to do right now. You need access to information, whether it be from attorneys, whether it be from packaging companies, whether it be from exhibitors that have new ways to clean and sanitize. All of that is being brought to you sitting in your restaurant or sitting at your home, and it's also available to your employees. So please don't miss this chance. I laugh, Anna put it over 6 days, and when I saw that, I was like, wow. Whew. But what it means is you have time to come in and out. This is not a sit in front of your computer for 7 hours. This is find something that's really interesting to you, come watch it, and then leave. And so please take the time to sign up. There's not anything really in life right now that's free. So that's number one. Number two, around membership. I'm going to just say it directly, guys. Please join. believe it or not, we've had the highest number of new members join in the last 4 months than we probably had in a year and a half. And that really speaks to the need of people wanting to be connected. But before this call, Kelsey and I spent an hour and a half with a large percentage of our PAC going through our government affairs agenda for next session. And I'm so fired up about what we're gonna be able to accomplish due to the relationships we're making, due to the members that we're bringing on board, due to the reach that we have, and just the real desire to capitalize on the love that people have for restaurants. And so please join, and kind of, it's just as much fun as it is about driving change and using this one session we have in 2 years, right? 2 years time in order to get stuff done that's gonna last a lifetime for all of you. Third is the phone to action. I am beyond irritated at this point, and I'm going to just touch the unemployment thing real quick, because many of us sit in the middle on this issue. The thought that right now that 32-something million Americans are still unemployed as the job market has not recovered at the rate we'd expect, we're a huge piece of that. At midnight, we'll lose that additional 600 per week that right now, frankly, is probably sustaining some of their families. If we don't think that's going to impact restaurants, but that money goes away, it's going to impact restaurants. On the other hand, are there some people maybe at home that are enjoying that benefit? Yes. If you put your non-business hat on for 2 seconds and your human being hat, if you had so much uncertainty in work and you didn't know what the hours were going to be, and you didn't have a child, or let's say you had a child, they can't go to school, you have no childcare, right? People are in a horrible situation right now with this pandemic. And the fact that Congress couldn't come to terms to get something over the line by midnight tonight is just, to me, is unacceptable as our elected officials. And so that is one piece of what we're about to step through. And so we know that we're pretty certain that come Monday, there will be a very aggressive next 5 days. They have to do something before the 7th. So hopefully unemployment will get dragged back into this, and we'll correct this mess that's about to blow up tonight at midnight. But also the liability protection, the paycheck protection program, right? There's all these components that have to get negotiated that, frankly, if we don't get this PPP sequel, I am so deeply afraid, in particular for independent restaurants that don't have the capital or liquidity to continue. And so, as Kelsey said, this phone to action that she developed and then Anna has pushed out, please look for the social media push tonight. You have to do this. Send it to your mom, your dad, your hairdresser, your grocer, your dog groomer, I don't care who. If these restaurants don't get help, guys, you know this, you need this support, and it's unacceptable that we are not getting what should be happening in Washington, is not picking winners and losers, but doing what's right for all of the voters and the people that put them there. And I say that, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. So please get behind this. And as Kelsey said, we want Monday to really be that punch, like, hey, Texas restaurants are serious. We have nothing to lose. You always think about where you put effort in. We have nothing to lose at this point. We need to get this over the line. And then last, on the state front, just want, again, from last night's message, we just got to keep seeing the numbers, guys, stabilize. You're seeing rollbacks in places like Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky. I read through all those this morning. There's people that are rolling things back. I think we're in a very good, stable position. And I think by the end of next week, we can talk about what some of the relief might look like. In the meantime, getting about 1,200 restaurants open was a huge win with the 51%. I talked to General Nettles directly today. I just called to say thank you. At this point in time, we have been very fortunate to have really good relationships with our different agencies, whether it's the Workforce Commission, TABC, and it matters that we're working together through these problems. Is it always fast enough? No. Is it always perfect? No. But I can tell you the human being side of this is that everyone just cares deeply about helping our sector, and we're going to find solutions just like TABC did last night. So I guess other than that, I hope you get a little bit of rest this weekend. And really grateful for you to be on this journey with us. We'll keep working hard through the weekend. And I guess thank you to my team again. It's kind of fun to do this all together.
It is definitely fun. Do we want to do that last moment?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So if you remember, I asked Joe this question the last time he and I did a video, and we got lots of comments. No, we are not starting our own television show together. We would drive each other crazy.
And last time it was a complete setup, by the way.
Well.
It's raining here. But I would like to know from each of you, what was the high point of your week this past week? And let's go the opposite direction now. Let's do, it's my dog losing his.
Okay. He wants to go outside.
Emily?
Okay, I'll start. So I actually have two. And the first one, if you've got to know me at all, last night I sat on my couch. I did have my laptop, but I had on my phone the WNBA game and on the TV the Lakers game. And it was the first time that for me basketball has been back It's my favorite thing in the entire world, outside of my family and obviously all of you. But I just was like, oh my gosh, it's normal. I'm watching basketball, men's and women's. They were great games. I think LeBron went down to the winning shot. And it was just, yes, it's weird. The fans aren't really there. They're like these stick figures, but it was still basketball. So that was a highlight. And I think also what really gave me energy this week was I got to meet with the Tarrant County chapter to see real people. I mean, Anna, we talked about this earlier, right? These are real human beings. We're trying to get our elected officials to understand these are not just standalone buildings that might close. These are people with dreams and have invested their whole lives, their families' lives, and seeing that just gives me the energy to keep fighting. And then meeting with one of the chefs that I happened to graduate from the college where I got to be president years later. And so that was very, very cool. And so for me, getting out and reconnecting with our members, which is where I find my joy, right, is the people-to-people connection, was just awesome. So it was a really good week. Who's next?
Chelsea?
I'll go next. A highlight for me was yesterday when we finally got that 51% language. We've spent countless hours going back and forth on that, so getting that done. And I had a friend reach out who helps the distilleries, and they were also impacted by that 51% rule, even though many of them have restaurants, operate like a restaurant. They were also closed by that rule. And that friend reached out once we got that fix done. And she said, I told my board that TRA made this happen and they want to treat y'all to a meal. And so just knowing that allied groups out there, some of them are restaurants, some of them are not, but they appreciate the work we're doing, because when we all work together on these kinds of issues, we get a better outcome. And so just to have that affirmation and that cooperation was just so nice. And to know that we finally got some progress on that was really great.
That is good. And I'm going to go before you, Joe, actually, because I don't want you to steal mine. But I wanted to say that whenever Joe is in town, he's been here in Austin this week. He and I usually get to go out to dinner, and he lets me plan where we're going to dinner, which is usually controversial, but we are mostly aligned. And we got to go to 3 different restaurants for dinner this week. We went to Adam Jacoby's place, Griselda's. We went to the Martinez family's, Mattel Rancho. And then we went to, what was the first one? Oh, we went to Peach Tortilla, or Bar Peach, which is run by Eric Silverstein. And especially whenever we were at Bar Peach, we got to spend a little bit of time with his general manager, Pat, hey Pat, who basically talked about what it was like to be back. And one thing that, Emily, I don't even know if you know this, but the day everything kind of happened, when people started getting laid off and closing businesses, I was actually there at Bar Peach when Eric was giving that conversation and his staff was there. And I recognized some of the same faces back at work whenever Joe and I went out on Tuesday night. And it was a really nice moment to just know, like, what we do matters, and advocacy matters, and education matters, and all the different discounts and benefits we're able to provide members, it matters. And it's just really nice. And of course, it was great spending time with Joe too. I love it when he's in town. So.
It sounds like you had a lot of queso, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I had Matt's queso yesterday. So the whole team is really rallying behind Matt's.
Had it 3 times this week, yes.
There's never enough queso in
some
Texas.
right now.
This is true.
Yeah, no kidding.
Actually, I wouldn't have stolen yours because mine's slightly different. But along the lines of what Emily was saying, when it comes to just being around people again, I think, for those who came out of a corporate world and are at home and are living inside this Zoom box right now, it's kind of conference calls on steroids. But for us in this industry, we're all about people, and we're all about being in front of either the public, but we're working with our colleagues and our staffs side by side, shoulder to shoulder. And that's what everyone's been doing through this entire pandemic, is working together to get through it. And we've certainly been doing that with the entire association. And whether it's the staff in one of our 4 offices or wherever we are, we've been doing it through Zoom. But today we've had all of Anna's team, the entire marketplace team, our accounting staff, just by coincidence, everyone is in the office. We're running tech tests on the various platforms that are going to be used for marketplace and things, but roughly 3/4 of the staff that are based in Austin are in the Austin office today. And while yes, everyone is social distancing and wearing their masks when they're coming around everybody and everything, still just the energy of having everyone here in the office, it's a sense of normalcy and having face-to-face interactions with everyone that it reminds me again of why this industry is so unique and so different, and the impact that we have with everybody, and then sharing stories of conversations we've been having with different members and restaurateurs throughout this entire period. So it just felt great to have everyone together again in the office, kind of like a normal day. So that was the highlight of the week for sure.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna add one more. One of my daughters got her braces off. So that's an expense that ended today. So let's hope she wears her retainer. But that's a big bonus, and she looks beautiful.
That's great.
Yay.
All right, guys. Well, I guess I'll wrap it up and just say thank you. Everyone, hang in there. Anything that happens over the weekend, there goes my Zoom camera. Anything that happens over the weekend, I know I'm not very techie. Anything that happens over the weekend, we're going to let you know. And so watch out for, again, the big call to action, and go register for Marketplace right now. The link is right below me. Or is it txrestaurant.org/marketplace? Nope, that's wrong. Go ahead, Anna.
tramarketplace.com.
Oh, even easier.
And just look at the tag on the bottom of the video.
Because I never get it right. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, team. Everyone have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you Monday.
You too.
Good.
Bye.
Bye, all.